When you think about it, it's hard to really understand the reason behind it. I explain myself. These days of Sefirat Omer, we're mourning because of the passing of 24,000 people, not regular people, all of them Talmidei Chachamim, all of them students of the greatest rabbi in history, Rabbi Akiva. And the Gemara writes that they passed away in between Pesach and Shavuot, and we know that they passed away mainly the 33, 34 days until Lag BaOmer. Now make a quick calculation. How many levayot, how many burials we had at that time? How many? 24,000. We're talking in between 700 to 900 levayot. Crazy. And each one of them, huge Talmidei Chachamim. The Gemara writes that when everybody passed away, Haya ha'olam shamem, the world was empty from Torah. Empty from Torah. Until Rabbi Akiva needed to go down to the south, and he got 5 students, and he re-teach again the whole entire Torah. One of them, the famous Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, right? But before that, nobody. And all this why? The Gemara says, "Mipenei shelo nahagu kavod ze leze," because they didn't respect each other. Rabbi, I really want to understand this concept, because if we're mourning for the passing of these rabbis, we have to understand what was wrong by them, and how is that possible that will be wrong by them for us to learn from it. We're talking about people that they knew the whole entire Torah. We're talking about people that they were, like I said before, students of Rabbi Akiva. Do you know who was Rabbi Akiva? There is a song that Chabad they like to sing it. Amar Rabbi Akiva, זה כלל גדול בתורה, ואהבת לרעך כמוך. Rabbi Akiva, one of his main halachot that he taught, his slogan was, ואהבת לרעך כמוך, זה כלל גדול בתורה. So how come that the students of Rabbi Akiva, they were missing the main pillar, the main halakha that the rabbi taught them? All of them? My dear friends, there is an idea behind this that unfortunately is something that could happen to all of us. I'm gonna ask you a different question, and throughout that question we'll get to the answer. We know the Mishnah in Pirkei Avot says that there is memchet kinyanim, 48 kinyanim ways to acquire Torah. What do you mean 48 ways of acquiring Torah? Acquire Torah, sit down and learn. What do you mean acquiring Torah? But the Mishnah in Pirkei Avot tells us no. It's not enough to learn. You have to have certain midot. For example, anava. For example, dibuk chaverim, which means being humble, being in a group, learning from each other. There is a whole list. Pirkei Avot, open up Pirkei Avot. You will see the whole entire Mishnah, long Mishnah, telling us all the 48 ways to be able to get the Torah. What's interesting, that how many days do we have from Pesach until Shavuot? 49. So out of the 49, 48 days are actually days that each one of these days we should work in one of the midot that we just mentioned now, one of the ways to achieve Torah. And like that, once we will hit Shavuot, we'll be ready to accept the Torah on us. And by the way, when we speak about Shavuot, it's not only what happened in history that Borei Olam gave the Torah, but rather every year HaKadosh Baruch Hu judges. On the day of Shavuot, Borei Olam judge every single one of us, the day of Shavuot, regarding how it's going to be our connection with Him throughout the whole entire year. How it's going to be our knowledge in Torah, how much is going to be our interest in Torah, easy to remember, etc. All these on Shavuot. So to be able to have a good judgment, you have to get prepared, to be a good recipient. What's the way? 49 days, that is actually 48 kinyanim that the Torah nikned by. Very nice, but I have a problem. What's my problem? Doesn't match. 48, 49, it's not a good rasha for the rabbis. Why the Mishnah needed to tell me 48 kinyanim? Make it easier. Make it 49. I can, out of my mind, I can tell you another 5 ways of acquiring Torah. Add me one more and make it nice. Make it even. You're going to have 49 kinyanim, 49 days from Pesach to Shavuot. Beautiful. Why they ruin it? Why Chachamim only focus on 48? And why do we have 49 days? Make it 48 days. So Rabbi Sami Sanant says one answer. He says that the number 49 is to do Hazara, to review all the kinyanim just before Shavuot. That's a yeshivish answer. That's a... But I heard an answer of Rav Asher Weiss, Shlita, and he said something very interesting. He said, there is one thing, one midah, that doesn't appear in the 48 kinyanim, because it's not a way of kinyan of Torah, but it comes before we even start our path to get to the Torah. And what is it? Derech Eretz Kadma Torah. You need to have Derech Eretz. Without the proper respect, without the proper hashivut that you give to somebody else, you cannot even start the path of the 48 kinyanim she'Torah niknat b'hem. And that's why we start to commemorate the passing of the 24,000 students right away after Pesach. Actually, the day of Sefirat HaOmer was the first day of the passing of the students. Why? They missed the first step before we start with the 48 kinyanim, that is, Derech Eretz Kadma Torah. But we asked before, how come? How it's not possible? How great rabbis cannot respect each other? You know what's the answer? It's very simple. Many times, because we feel connected to each other, because I feel that you're part of me, I get very easily to disrespect you and to allow to myself not to treat you at the level that you deserve. And that happens mainly with the people that are closer to us. They got it very easy. Of course, Rabbi Akiva told them, but lo na'agu kavod, it's not because lo ahavu ze laze. No, they loved each other. And because they loved each other, they allowed themselves not to give the proper respect. That happens, my dear friends. Each one of us, you want to know how it's possible? Not you, Baruch Hashem, but many people, when they go home, right? They love the wife, they love the wife. They love the kids, they love the kids. Do they respect the wife? What about respect? No, of course they love her. But sometimes a man allows himself to say certain words that you will never say it to somebody in the street. You allow yourself not to give a nice compliment when if somebody else was doing the same thing or 10% of what your wife was doing, you were thanking him from here to the end of the day. And with our wives, we take it for granted. Says Rabbi Akiva, say Chazal, the students of Rabbi Akiva, they love each other. And because they love each other, they didn't give the proper compliment because they allowed themselves, it's normal, it's my brother, it's my brother. And about this, we have the first step of the 49 days, Derech Eretz Kadma Torah. That's our job, my dear friends. These days are days of work, internal work, to try to grab 5 minutes of Sifrei Musar every single day. Take upon yourself 5 minutes learning Musar. And throughout this, we will be a good recipient for the day of Shavuot to be able to get the Torah from HaKadosh Baruch Hu ותהון. Baruch Adonai לעולם, אמן ואמן. רבי יוחנן היה מן הקדושה אומר, נשא הקדוש ברוך הוא